FM. You can listen on Facebook, where so many of you do, or you can go like that's live in real time on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we'd love for you to go to YouTube.
Might have just started. It was spinning. I'm not sure what
It's okay. And subscribe to our YouTube page. It's free. There's no donation.
I think we're at 25 subscribers. Not bad for 2 days.
Yeah, there's no donation button. We want to get to 1,000 subscribers. That would be great.
Yeah, we got to work on some technical things, because we had a great phone call on Friday with Coach Poole to talk about him being on Major League Baseball's list of the best swing ever in Astros history, the nicest swing, and because we can't get the phone onto YouTube,
yeah,
we had to.
Thank you for the inclusion, but you did the work on that one. I'll tell you something interesting, Ash. I thought about this the other day, and many of you may not be baseball fans, and that's okay, but we are, and it's our show. Okay, we like baseball. So here's my comment to you. How many radio stations, it's not rhetorical, how many radio stations do you think Don Mattingly was on in New York on Friday to talk about having the greatest swing or the prettiest swing in Yankee? How many? I mean, we know that Ted Williams, who has passed, was not on the Boston channel.
Mike Trout, I might have been on one in L.A.
Maybe.
Just because he's a current player.
But think about the fact that as far as I know, we were the only folks that interviewed TP, and we reached out and got a hold. And obviously there's a connection, but I mean, that's what it's all about. That's Sean Hannity has connections. Dan Patrick has connections. And we reached out and got a hold of Terry Poole, who I agree has the prettiest swing in Astros history. Awesome. I thought it was great. I wouldn't use the word journalism. It was great radio.
It was a lot of fun. It was
great stuff.
A lot of fun.
What is we may have a driving situation.
DMV has been closed for over 30 days, so no one can renew their license at the DMV or get a new license. So no new CDs or regular licenses.
CDLs.
CDLs. Yeah. Can't wait for that to open.
Good morning, Mr. Hartman. Seeing Jim Hartman check in reminds me to remind you the VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer, all reside on Kerr Boulevard and are all part of the Hartman family businesses. Whether you need to talk to Big Jim or Miss Jennifer, JR or Kelly, they're all around. They all do what they do every day to make your life better, from surround sound, home theater, surveillance, fire suppression, fire detection, all the way down to the iPhone 11 accessories and an iPad. They've got it all at the AT&T store as well. Reach out. They're doing curbside service. We're all tired of it. We are. We're tired of it. It's time to get back to work, people. It's time to get back to work. Wash your hands, keep your distance, and let's get something going. But the VCS companies are going to be there when it's over. Good management, a good program, great quality, and great integrity. Allen's Record Service, 578-6300.
Give Allen a call if you're stuck on the side of the road today. They will practice social distancing, as they always have.
Sure. You don't want to get too close to Allen anyway.
No.
He's not usually in a good mood.
But he'll likely have a mask on.
Sure.
And he'll safely get you and your vehicle to where it needs to go so you can get back to life as you know it.
578-6300. SCT Building Systems, time for a barn dominium, bricks and sticks home. You need a storage room, a she shed. They do it all.
Man cave.
564-8864. That's 564-8864.
That's Clayton's cell phone number. You'll talk to Clayton, and he'll start you on the road to your project and get you there from start to finish.
And then go see our friend Bobby Leon at Chestnut Furniture Company, 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner. What, of Juan Lynn
Bridge. They've been downtown for 100 years.
Right there by Santa Rosa.
Just a block away.
There you go. Nobody understands that one. They're at 116 West Juan Lynn, but actually they're right there at the corner of Santa Rosa and Bridge. Well, kind of.
One of those you never let me forget, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Like the Big Jammer. That was in the first season, the Big Jammer.
Get down to Chestnut Furniture Company. Give them a call. They'll deliver.
100 years. Chestnut and Love make your house a home, and you just do better at Chestnut.
There's J. Dupp, Clint Ives, Brent Anderson.
Commissioner Ives somehow still COVID-free in precinct 4. I don't know how he does it. He just does not allow it. Says there will be no COVID in my precinct.
So Joe Mitchell, Billy Hatcher, the Thrasher swing.
Corky. I called him Corky Hatcher because he had that bat that was full of cork. Guy goes from being a lifetime, 240 hitter to hitting like 320 with 60 dogs. I'm like, hey, Barry Bonds, let's work on that bat.
So normally I probably would have been excited about this.
So abnormally, we're going to be bored.
So today I'm not excited,
Right.
and I'll give you the reason why. News this morning that there's a vaccine on the horizon. It's making its way up the chain of trials. Supposedly had successfully protected monkeys
Oh,
from the virus, and so will now move to human trials. That's usually the stage, right? They go
Sure.
rats to monkeys to humans. So here's the problem.
Let's try it on Bill Gates.
Here's the problem I have with it. Guess who's developing this vaccine?
Bill Gates?
I don't know. He might be behind it. Country. Think country.
Oh, I can think of one you would be leery of. Go ahead.
Which one would that be?
Well, it would have to be one where it all originated.
Exactly.
Sure.
China. China's moving forward. And do we have any trust in China's ability, especially when you find out that this thing probably started in their lab? So we're going to trust a Chinese lab to make the vaccine for the virus that they unleashed on the world, or have they always had the vaccine and they want to come in riding in like heroes and off in the sunset when it's all said and done?
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Is there anything, are you a hero if you create a problem and then bring the solution? I don't know if you're a hero or you're just.
Well, you're a hero if nobody
Well,
finds out that you're the one that created the problem, right? So, yeah, where's PETA?
Yeah.
James
Can't
Kerr
test
says,
the monkeys,
no. Natalie Mayer, good morning to you.
but you can shock the monkey.
I was listening to one of the alternative 80s channel over the weekend,
Right.
Sirius, and in one, I ran yesterday. I had to go to where did I go? Walmart. I had to get gas and I had to go Tractor Supply. So I made a quick little, it was a quick loop. I didn't waste time and saunter through the aisles browsing. I was in and out.
Right. Socially
But
distant.
I heard, songs that were just absolutely key to the soundtrack of my youth. She Blinded Me with Science.
Science.
Thomas Dolby.
Great song.
Peter Schilling and Major Tom.
Right. Why do I always think that's David Bowie?
Because he had one similar,
Okay.
but it wasn't that one.
Different one. Okay.
There was a Depeche Mode song that played, but it was just, I'm like, man, if you're going to turn it on at any time, it was good.
But at least we had, you're that one click later than me. I had the great fortune that when I start saying Journey, Boston Foreigner, Kiss, Allman Brothers, yada yada, Marshall Tucker Band, all that was right in my wheelhouse of high school. So we had the greatest music. We just thought great music was going to go on forever. The Eagles, on and on. It just didn't happen.
No, because they all either OD'd or they broke up.
Right. You ever watch one of those
Sold
behind
out.
the music things? After 14 years touring the clubs, the band really took off with their hit single, blah, blah, blah. After that, the drummer OD, the plane crashed. It's always like there's always just.
Yeah.
The fact that Rolling Stones are still here is amazing.
Or they got tied up in litigation and took 14 years to produce an album like Boston.
Yeah, or you're like Led Zeppelin and you plagiarized everything.
It's one song.
Yeah, everything. It's my take on it.
Yeah. Dana Moore de la Garza. James
Good
Kerr
morning.
says he's not taking no vaccine.
Right?
Peter McNally, good morning.
I
John
would-
Anderson, Ted Nugent.
Yeah. Oh, Ted. He liked Ted a lot.
I was not a Nuge fan. I'm still not really.
Ted.
He's got a cool little rock store that you can get over at Velocity Power Sports at Hatzenhofer, though. He's got his own rock store.
I'm a Ted fan as a human being, but I don't need Ted's music too much.
What do you have? I mean,
Cats,
realistically,
French,
he was a one-hit wonder that has lasted forever.
Yeah. But you know,
He was the 70s version of Tiny Tim.
But he wasn't a drug head. He doesn't drink. He's just kind of.
But he gave that impression that he did.
He's crazy. He bow hunts.
Yeah, he's a bit of a survivalist and prepper.
Renaissance man.
Yeah. Crystal Stringham saying Chase Brown's now living in Vegas. Of course, we know him around here. And he hasn't been able to perform, so he's doing shows, I guess, every other Sunday night on Facebook. Or has done them every Sunday night for the last 5 weeks on Facebook. He's accepting donations online. A lot of musical artists are doing that to try to.
But wait a minute. We do this every day on Facebook. Can we accept donations? Hey.
Good. We don't.
I know. And we don't encourage that.
No. Dana Moore de la Garza, good morning.
Chase is good.
But
you wouldn't expect that voice out of that guy.
No. Kristen Richardson says it was a good show last night. Yeah, I didn't check in last night. I was just hanging with the dogs last night.
I watched the last half of episode 3 and all of episode 4 of The Last Dance, the deal on Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Very, very candid.
10-parter, right?
Yeah, very candid, very, I was surprised for a guy that we don't know a whole lot about. I would challenge you to name a more public figure, more recognizable figure, maybe Tiger Woods, that we know less about than Michael Jordan. We don't know much about Michael. For example, right now, is Michael married? I don't know. Does he have kids? I don't know.
I know he's got kids because one of them played at, where did he play? Notre Dame? No. Small school up in the Midwest, mid-major.
Notre Dame. Small. It is a small school.
And didn't he have another kid play football?
I don't know. Thought that was Tony Dorsett. But besides that, we don't know much about Michael Jordan, really. And so he's a guy who has carefully guarded his image, his likeness. And I just found it, call me idealistic, but I found it interesting that on ESPN.
He guarded his likeness. This thing's all over.
But it's all monetized.
Yeah, no, it is all
I found it interesting that he just casually dropped a bunch of F-bombs in his conversation.
Really?
I just figured he'd be a little bit more. They're making a documentary. It's I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that he kept dropping F-bombs.
CW Bean says he'll donate a used couch to our show.
If it's red, bring it by. We've got a space for it right here. We need a red couch.
Marty Stockbear says she watched Chase last night, did an awesome rendition of "I've Got You, Babe." He sang both the Sonny and Cher parts.
Oh, he's like the Jerry James.
Did he do that thing where half his face was painted like Sonny and the other half Cher? So when he turned each way,
yeah.
So
no, like Jerry James does Willie and Waylon.
Trying to think who else I've noticed.
He also does Willie and To All the Girls That Love You.
Julio Iglesias?
Yeah, he does that one too.
I think one of the first guys I've noticed doing this was Kevin Fowler. He started doing this back in like March. Aaron Watson has jumped in.
He's good.
Frank Gilligan's doing them.
We love Frank.
So there's a whole bunch of artists that are now doing this, and Chase, the latest, didn't get a chance to watch him, but good for Chase. I hope things are well.
Click the red donate button at the bottom of the screen.
Subscribe now.
Christina Wise says, you can't subscribe, just donate. That's our motto.
How do you hear the singing through the mask, though?
If you're in the studio by yourself, you don't need the mask.
One thing I noticed, we ended up Saturday, we had to go to Target, had to go, finally they had paper supplies on the shelves. Toilet paper and paper towel. Hate to say it, I kind of like Target's brand of those things.
You like their TP?
Yeah, and their paper towel.
Just rough enough for you?
Lets me know. Doesn't leave anything behind. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like 320 grit.
just wipe till you see a little paint on there and you'll be all right.
No. But I'll say this. If the Mass have done anything for the retail trade, it's made certain stores even less friendly than before. Because nobody says a word to you in a mask anymore.
No, that's a true story. When I walk, when I'm walking down the aisle like at HEB, and I'll see somebody with a mask, and I'll go, "Hey, how you doing?" There's nothing to stop you from going fine or trying to get by. Just do it. People just look at you, and I literally go, "Really? Mask out your tongue?" I mean, I do. I'm just like, seriously, you can't talk.
Yeah.
You can't still be polite just because you've got a mask on.
Yeah. No, there were stores you used to walk into, and I haven't really noticed it at HEB, but other stores I've walked into, and they used to talk to you.
John
Nothing
Wayne
anymore.
paper,
Yeah.
prison paper. Nothing like the old single ply. Wipe till you feel the finger. Speaking of that, Joe Biden, what are we going to do with him? Huh? Tara Reid.
Yeah, let's get to him in a second. Chris Hollis Stringham says that I guess Chase got pulled over by the Las Vegas Metro and they ended up performing with him. That'd be
nice.
Cool.
Makes you wonder if that was staged, but I like it.
Christina Weiss says the fact that even the flu vaccine doesn't cover all strains. I would not take a COVID vaccine that is so quick to put on the market. Too many unknowns. Yeah. I'm not sure it's going to work.
There you have it. We're trusting Christina the nurse, not Christina the Gamecocks fan, because they're terrible.
Bobby Leiser says they don't know you with the mask on.
Right. No, I keep thinking maybe they're like, I know that guy, and now I have a reason not to speak to him.
Can't hear me under this muffled mask anyway.
Oh, folks, today's a great day to get to Veracruz. Veracruz to go, Veracruz curbside. Give them a call.
Yeah, Veracruz delivered. Only three ways you can get it now.
576-6015.
Get an enchilada casserole to go. They're flying off the warmers.
They're selling a ton of it, and I know it's because of us, and I appreciate you guys supporting
They're
us.
Good.
Really good.
Like Georgie Gutierrez checking in.
This is awesome. Razor IT Solutions. Get a hold of JP Hull. Let him help you with your analytics, your website presence, your Facebook presence, your interaction between your accounting software and your inventory. He can help you with getting a pay button on your Facebook page. If you need to raise money, he can do all that. He's got the software, the technology, and the staff to make that happen.
And the know-how.
Razor IT Solutions. Since 1926, Atzenhofer dealership. Once again, voted best of the best.
I was browsing, and I shouldn't be doing this. I don't need a vehicle.
Sometimes you buy these because you want it.
Yeah, I know,
trying to help the community.
I mean, I've got a truck. Live out on the 2-4.
I've got a 4-wheel drive. I'm a cowboy.
But sometimes I miss my car. I had a nice little 4-door Honda Accord. Loved it.
You've got one in the barn if you just get it to run.
Yeah, I know. It's not quite the same. They've got these would be perfect cruising days.
Be fun.
Yeah. They've got a Lexus LS 460. There, it's a few years old, but it's only got like 55,000 miles.
The black one?
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Isn't it?
And it's reasonably priced.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's why you stopped and looked at it.
I stopped and looked at it when I was online. So, get over there. Great selection of pre-owned, great selection of new vehicles, and you can shop from the comfort of your own home, your living room, your couch, your bedroom,
models.
at Atzenhofer.com.
I think they're still inspecting vehicles right now.
Even though they don't need to, because they're not writing tickets for anybody's failed inspection and registrations right now. But they've got a great selection online, and I mean anything you need, all makes, all models, brand new Chevrolet, Cadillac, Mitsubishi, Mazdas for the Canadians.
Then we jump over to somebody who doesn't have anything you need, but they've got what you need. If you need a roll-off dumpster for a big project, if you need weekly trash
they get rid of everything you no longer need.
Yeah, get rid of the stuff you don't need by calling White Trash Services. 550-1826. You can ask for the boss.
She's not there today. She's at Lake McQueenie.
She's like, but I guarantee you they can get a hold of her. That's what makes that such a great family-owned business. If you need BJ Nelson will call you today. 550-1826. That's White Trash Services. People are making you laugh today. I don't know if you're just like naturally giddy. If anybody wants to call today, 575-9509. Welcome to do that.
Joe Mitchell says he wore the number 27 for Glenn Davis back when he played Little League. He loved all his at the plate actions.
Oh, Glenn. Nobody in the history of baseball was more likely to go to first base, pull out a vial, coat himself in gasoline, and light himself than Glenn Davis. The guy was a psycho.
I'm trying to think of the guy's name that I played with. Wade Barrage, I think was his name. He tried to emulate Wade Boggs. I mean,
oh yeah.
I think that was his name. But to the crouch, he had everything.
Glenn Davis had that,
and he was pretty good.
He always had that look like he was like looking at the picture. But now he could yak. He could hit it.
Yeah.
Forever. But he was a nut job. BJ says she'll be back
tomorrow.
I think she's flying in here on 2 wheels. Coming in hot.
It's a nice thing when you're the boss. You can get a late start from Lake McQueen and be back here.
She's got
in under 2 hours.
White Trash Services swag copy.
Yeah.
Just fly in.
You think she's got lights on that thing?
Probably. The big
like
yellow
a light
on
bar?
the top. Yeah, nice.
Red and blues flashing.
What did you think about? We decided before the show we weren't going to recap the draft, and we don't have to. But I read several analysts said they were really pleased with what the Cowboys did with the draft, and I noticed that 36 wide receivers were taken in the first 3 rounds. That was the most of any position, and 23 different teams in the NFL took at least one receiver. 23 teams took 36 wide receivers. Think about that.
Yeah,
I think it's forward pass. I think it's going to stay.
Yeah,
it's for real.
It might have some staying power. Well, I think it's indicative of who's the most ready to step into the NFL and play. It's the wide receivers.
Right.
And the fact that every team really seems to be struggling to find somebody beyond their number one receiver, and some teams like Philadelphia don't even have a true number one.
True.
Right. I think I saw a stat for Philadelphia that they had a bunch of guys that you wouldn't even recognize the names at all in the last few games of the season, and they were throwing balls to all of them, and they weren't catching very many of them. But
wow, maybe they need to get Marky Mark back out there.
Yeah, but I think that's what that number is reflective of. Is these are the guys that are probably two things, probably the most ready to step into the NFL and play, or teams are struggling so bad at that depth at that position.
Right.
That's why they went and got. I think that's the Cowboys when they grabbed CeeDee Lamb. I think that's why they went and grabbed him, is because they feel he's probably the most ready. He was the most readily available player at that point in the draft in the first round to step in and be able to play right away. And I think when you're throwing that kind of money at first rounders now, you're going to see guys that can step into play immediately. I think that's partially why you don't see back in the 70s and 80s, remember, was it 82 when everybody drafted a quarterback?
Sure.
Right? That was like the year
86
of quarterbacks.
86.
I thought it was earlier than that.
Blackledge, Esiason, Eason, Marino. Marino was the last.
That was earlier than that. Was it earlier than that?
So
it was 81 or 82, I think. But anyway.
At any rate, maybe it was 83 because he won his first year to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So he would have been drafted April of 82.
Early 80s.
Yeah, whatever, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
But anyway, I think that's what's happening now. I think with the money that first rounders are getting, you're now taking players that can step in and play. They may not be the big impact player or the big name that you used to expect in those high, flashy, high-profile positions.
Right.
But your teams are drafting guys that can step in.
What do you think about this? What do you make of this? You remember a time years ago when Lee Steinberg was the quarterback's agent, and he basically kind of controlled the market for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What do you look at? There was a group of the first 2 rounds, a group called Athletes First had like 40% of the draft picks. They're the agents for. Do you get into a point where you start to push the antitrust side of things when you go, well, if I can't have Carter, then I'll take Wade. Fine, I control them both. They're $10 million apiece. Can you get to the point where an agent could create a false market? I think you can. I just don't know what you can do about it.
Well, doesn't what's his name? Who's the guy with baseball that
Morad?
Cole Hamels, or not Cole Hamel.
Kershaw?
No, the guy that just left the Astros, went to the Yankees.
I don't remember him. Garrett Cole?
Garrett Cole, thank you. See how quickly we've moved on
I
as
don't like
fans?
that guy.
Isn't he a Scott Boras guy?
Yes.
And Scott Boras seems to be the name that pops up anytime there's, but I think isn't he a Verlander guy too?
Yes. Do
So-
they not have a fettering? Can they not affect the market? I think they can.
Yeah, but when each player independently chooses who their agent is, I don't know that you can. I don't know. I don't know how you can trust that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Look,
So,
Joe Mitchell helped us out with Garrett Cole. Joe, do you really think we needed help with Garrett Cole?
I did.
I did.
There's H.R. Mallory checking in, Clayton Meyer, Joe
I
Gomez.
completely forgotten.
Yeah.
If you go back up, there was something interesting there. I read it. Oh, Cody Sugar says he loved it. He loved watching the ghost of Shoeless Joe Jackson grin as he eased the pain of the Iowa farmer's father. Yes, that was
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams was said. By the way, Major League Baseball had a Field of Dreams plan. The Yankees and Red Sox were going to play out there in
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah. Yep, done.
James Kerr says he's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
He's a one-tool player.
James says he wouldn't get a vaccine, but I'm wondering, James, if they offered you $1 million to test the COVID vaccine, would you do it?
Would you go?
Would you do it?
Oh, sure. For $1 million, stick me.
$500,000?
For $1 million, there's a lot of things I'd do.
$500,000?
I'm an insurance agent, man. I've hoarded myself out for less. You kidding me?
What's your number on this COVID vaccine that they're
You
clinically
give me-
trying in China on monkeys? If they wanted to take it into human trials and they needed the first one to go,
You give me
are you it?
You give me $250,000 and a 6-pack, and I'll find a way to convince America that I took one for the team. I'll write a book. I'll be laid up on the sofa watching reruns.
That is somewhat life-changing money, isn't it?
Sure, $250, that would help.
Yeah,
That would
certainly
help.
would. Certainly would.
Tax-free.
But tell you what, if you had $250 and you want to plan an event, I can tell you can help.
Oh, Cheryl.
Cheryl, Gray Barn Design,
Design 920-6803.
best event designer in the business.
She really is.
She's
She's
good.
local. She's trying to make enough money to leave her husband. 920-6803. Let's help her out, folks. She's tired of it. She's trying to get a better life.
She's not watching us.
She's trying to better her life.
I'm trying to better hers.
Let's just help
See the battle
Cheryl.
I've got.
Let's all rally together for Cheryl. Can you sing In the Arms of a Stranger? Let's just all get together for 33 cents a day. We can all
I
help
watched
Cheryl.
enough of those yesterday with ASPCA ads all day on the Food Network.
We can all help Cheryl move on with her life. No woman left behind.
920-6803. Give her a call.
Gray Barn Design.
I'd be lost. Don't do it.
No, you would. I tell you what, between Dawn and Cheryl, the only things that really make us legit,
That's it.
no doubt about it.
Uncle Mutt's Barbecue, folks, 7 days a week now. So you back
You take that
open.
home. Take that home. You'll be legit.
Yeah.
Brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, turkey, all the side dishes.
Mm.
They've got the Uncle Mutt's rice going again. You can't go wrong. And
No.
you can't do it at home. I'm sorry. You can get all your whatever you think you're going to put in it.
Yeah. No,
I
not
know
the same.
one of the secrets is chicken stock, but that's only because I've tasted it. Jonathan told me one day as he was doing a knife, sharpening a knife, he said, "Hey, look, I can tell you, but that'd be it.
Yeah.
It stick you.
Gave you, chicken broth.
That's it."
Who doesn't use
He
that?
goes, "Stop talking." I
Who
said,
doesn't use that in rice?
I said, "I can taste the chicken broth." He goes, "Stop talking."
Yep.
Adam Daughtry was talking about the Wayne Carter COVID-19 recovery bash.
We'll figure it out. We got time.
Yeah, we can do it. We're going to do. Oh yeah, we've got time. I think the governor's going to open things up this weekend. You're going to see people that. I mean, his wife is at home going, "Are you kidding me, Greg? I need to get my nails done."
Yeah, look at these roots.
But I mean, if you're concerned about the transmission, there's a lot of touching. You're really close. It's that's a great place for. He came in, he sat here, then he left, and someone else sat there, and they got it, and then they left and went to their family, and they got it. I mean, I could see I am convinced that as you go forward, we're up, what, 3 cases over the weekend or something?
Yeah, it takes us to about 119, I think, in the county.
Okay, 119 cases out of 100,000 people. I'm kind of bored with it. I am. I'm sorry.
69 of those are recovered, I believe.
Well, and half of them came from Pam.
Yeah.
And the whole deal there is like, you people have this vision that all these people at post-acute medical are like falling out in the parking lot. That's not the case. They didn't even know they were sick because they weren't sick. They just tested positive for the virus. I'm not trying to say it's much ado about nothing. I'm saying it's time to move forward. We have lots of businesses. We have people in this community that are still upset about small business loans. That was a pathetic financial venture, a terrible, terrible deal for the city of Victoria. Not even sure it matches up with the city's charter. And people are like, oh, I've got to have that $25,000. No, you don't. You need to get back to work. We need to get this thing off our back and get back to work.
As of Saturday, there were 3 more cases, so 118 total cases. 69 have recovered. We have 47 active cases in Victoria County as of 5 o'clock Saturday. And I don't know if any were reported yesterday.
Very, very, very far from the doom and gloom. I can remember asking Judge Zeller before we ever even had a quarantine, asking Judge Zeller, what are you going to do if you wake up on Monday and 300 people show up at the ER? We don't have 300 ER beds. What are you going to do? I too was concerned. Guess what? Reality has shown me that not only has this virus been here longer than we knew, not only have many, many, many more times the people that we think are infected, we know that multiples of that are infected. The same number of people died. 2 people attributed to Victoria County. One's not even here. Wasn't here, didn't get it here, wasn't treated here, didn't die here.
But he's ours.
2 people. We claim him.
There's Errol. Errol sold checking in. Good morning, Errol.
2 people. 2 people. We shut down every business, every restaurant. Nails, hairs, gyms. People are getting fat. More people are going to die of obesity. 2 people died. Dose. It's time to move on.
I think I misspoke last week when I said that I think I said 14,000 people are attributable die for every 1% increase in unemployment. I reread the study. It's more like 58,000, and it's compounded over time. That's about a 5-year period. But they got a researcher in the 70s looked at all the data for decades, and then more recently, someone else took a look at that and to see if it was still attributable, see if it was still I guess appropriate and to this time, and this was not now, but applicable to a few years ago, and found out that given the fact that our population has changed dramatically, we've added about 100 million people into this country. Since then, the numbers are probably even worse than they were when this research was first presented in the 1970s.
That's when you're talking like this. Applicable.
Yeah, thank you.
Just to get that, like the producer. I want us to go to like some little earbuds where excuse me, I'm sorry, this is just coming in live. I'm sorry, we got a breaking news.
So 58,000 people for every 1% increase in unemployment die over a 5-year period from when and that's addictions, that's mental health, that's all heart disease, everything that comes along with that because of losing the job.
Which means we're heading for a pandemic of COVID-related death that has nothing to do with the COVID virus.
Which means that just a 1% uptick, and we've seen more than that. I mean, we're 16% up from where we were? We're at about 20, no, more than that. We're at about 20%, right? Or 22%. Oh, yeah. We were at 3.5% unemployment. But think about it. Just a 1% increase of unemployment from where we were when this thing started is responsible, according to those researchers, for more deaths in this country than COVID has currently claimed.
No doubt. I believe that 100%. Suicide, starvation, homelessness. James Kerr
lack of medical care.
Kerr says, why can't you just play along and take 15 days to flatten the curve? Okay, well, 2 months later, here we are. Yep.
So what do you make of the latest accusation against Joe Biden? It's not a new accusation. It was made back in 1993 by a woman named Tara Reid. I'm not critical.
That's not the Tara Reid that was an actress.
No.
Reade.
Although he probably would have sniffed her hair back then because she
Right.
would have only been about 8 years old.
11,
Yeah,
something like that.
But and I'm not discounting her claim. I would like to see this go somewhere where then I can judge based on the evidence. But I find it very interesting that the Democrats, who were all about, well, if you support Judge Kavanaugh, you're a rapist. If you support Donald Trump, you're a misogynist and a rapist and a racist and every other thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Boy, have they been going. I mean, they've been going so far on this.
Y'all are just picking on Joe.
Google Play dropped off the interview of Tara Reid's mom with Larry King on Larry King Live on CNN in 1993. She called into that show.
My daughter just quit working for a really well-known
looking for some advice.
I'm trying to get some advice. She won't. Larry goes, well, she should come forward. Well, she, out of respect for him, she didn't want to press any charges. I mean, the whole deal is, look, I tried to take off my, obviously, I'm fairly conservative, so I
Republican skin here.
Yeah, so I tried to take that off and just be unbiased. And I look back and I remember they dragged that Dr. Blasey Ford in. They had congressional hearings. They did all this stuff. And by the way, at the end of the day, her garbage was all discounted as not even being true, not even being real. Not to mention there was a couple of college kids. They were all in college at the time. I'm not discounting a collegian can rape somebody. I'm not saying that. Number one, he wasn't accused of actually having sex with her. And number two, it was in college, and there was definitely booze involved on all of their parts. So take that for what it's worth. Biden, on the other hand, was a sitting United States senator. He had run for president at least once at this point.
And I would say this accusation's probably, it's got a little more detail to it than Christine Blasey Ford's accusation ever did.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure it was him. I think it was that Kavanaugh guy. I'm pretty sure it was him. There were two guys in the room. I think it was him, though.
George Gutierrez asked what happened to believing all women.
Yeah, exactly. That is the biggest point. Why is it not? You would think that the liberal left would be screaming, give us Bernie, because Bernie has been beyond Viagra for 30 years himself. I mean, he's done.
You just answered your question.
They ain't got nobody else to give.
Because they don't want Bernie. They don't have anybody else. It's Joe or nobody right now.
That's it. And it's Joe or nobody for the folks who say never Trump. I've never seen, there has never been, save maybe Abraham Lincoln, a president in this country so hated, so despised, that they would take anybody over him. Lincoln struggled with it. For every person that believed in Abraham Lincoln, there was somebody in this country that did not grieve when he died.
Let's go back to 79-80.
Carter?
I think you could have ran a German Shepherd against Jimmy Carter, and the German Shepherd might have won.
Yeah, legit.
I mean, heck, he even had, what sitting president has had a legitimate challenger for his second term within his own party?
His own nomination. Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Carter did. So you don't even have to go back to Lincoln, but those are probably the two.
Yeah. Well, Carter was so ineffectual; it doesn't even matter.
No.
But
boy, are they retrying to paint? Aren't they? Boy, they're repainting his legacy as a president, right?
If you live to be 90, they're going to love you. Look at Cher. She stayed in the show business 50 years. They gave her an Oscar.
Yeah. She's a pretty good actress, I'll say that. She's probably a better actress than she was a singer. She's a better singer now than she was on Sonny and Cher. But I think she became a better she was a better actress at that point in the 80s than she was.
Silkwood.
Witches one. Mask was a good one. Witches of Eastwick or something. Wasn't she in that one or something?
What was that guy's name, the redheaded guy? And
Eric Stoltz.
They made Eric Stoltz look so bad that Cher looked good. Yeah.
until she showed up on a naval carrier with ass with butt cheek showing out.
So bad.
No. So, and then I guess the other story over the weekend that really picked up a lot of steam was the fate of our favorite commie dictator, Kim Jong-un.
Is he alive or not? We don't know.
We don't know. Japanese media is saying he's not. Everybody else a little more guarded. Even the South Koreans aren't saying anything because they're afraid.
Hit?
Well, I thought this one was kind of funny.
Open heart surgery.
Open heart surgery because he had problems. The doctor apparently was so nervous operating on him that they say he screwed up because he's doing this as he's trying to clamp an artery. It's a possibility, I guess.
Sure. So Kim Jong-un has a sister who's next in line.
Yeah. But I mean, I got a couple theories on this. Either he faked it to see who would try to take over and find out where the loyal ones are and where those he can't trust so he can off them.
Possible.
Or, given the deity-like belief of his grandfather and everybody who's came along, this is his Phoenix moment. He's going to pretend to be almost dead. And then to solidify his godlike status in North Korea, he's going to rise from the dead and be alive. And then everybody's just going to, they're going to love him. Those are my two theories on this one.
So,
aside from the third option that he actually will die or is dead because of a botched open heart surgery.
Given where we are sideways with China, is there any logic if Kim Jong-un passes? Is there any logic to South Korea just taking over North Korea?
South Korea wouldn't do it. China wouldn't allow it because a reunified or unified Korean peninsula does not benefit China at all.
Okay.
Although I think it might be, in my opinion, I think China would love it because I think they would roll in and roll over the South Koreans, but it would lead to World War III. I don't think there's any, and there were a bunch of fear mongers out there. This is dangerous for the world. We're on the cusp of World War III.
Who would have thought that Kim Jong-un being alive was good for the world?
Yeah, I mean that's the BS here. The same papers that were stoking the fuels of COVID and trumping this Neil Ferguson physicist guy and all his models of doom and gloom and millions of deaths all around the world from COVID are now the same papers in Europe saying that we're on the verge of World War III. You can only fearmonger so much. And since it didn't work with COVID to the degree they wanted to, now they're trying to get the World War III fear-mongering going.
Yeah.
Ain't going to happen.
I can see it. Hey, what is going to happen is we got to get out of here. It's after the top of the hour. Please like and share the video. Please